New Trump trading card just dropped. Are you ready? It's not Cowboy Trump. It's not Astronaut Trump. It's not whatever other nutty Trump trading card. It's McDonald's worker Trump. Or maybe it's Pittsburgh Steeler Trump. He did post like an addled, demented freak. He posted this on Truth, some AI image of him, like anybody, like who? Come on, what is good? If Kamala Harris were sharing AI images of herself as whatever, people would be, this is not good. This doesn't bode well for her ability to run the country. But because it's Donald Trump, everybody looks the other way. The media looks the other way. They don't say anything about it. But there are also many of them not saying anything about this or reporting on this the correct way, that this was an outrageously staged event in a closed McDonald's. One outlet did get it right. And they're honing in on the motivation for why he did this, and that's what I want to talk about today. Before we jump into this, though, I'm going to play a clip for you from Friday morning when he was on Fox and Friends, and he kind of spilled the beans. Not kind of. He kind of let the cat out of the bag behind what the motivation behind this was, what the impetus was behind this, and it deals with Kamala Harris having worked at McDonald's as a high school kid or as a college kid. There's a stat, I don't know the accuracy of the stat, but that like 25% of Americans have worked at McDonald's at one time or another. It's kind of a rite of passage, or it's a first job for many, many, many people. So it's not a surprise. It's not unbelievable at all that Kamala Harris would have worked at McDonald's at one time or another during her early education as a kid, as a young adult, right? But because it does paint her as like everybody else, instead of like Donald Trump born with a silver spoon right in his ass, living in opulent, ostentatious, gold-crusted apartments that overlook Central Park. It's insane. But because he doesn't have the advantage of being a regular person, he has to call into question the regular personness of Kamala Harris, who wasn't born into wealth, wasn't born into privilege. But he doesn't got it like that. Here he is on Fox and Friends, again, spilling the beans about what the motivation behind this was.
I know. Mr. President, I got a question for you. Either today or tomorrow, you're going to McDonald's. You're going to be working the fryer. Are you going to wear the paper hat?
I'm going to do everything. I tell you what.
You're going to do it?
A friend of mine owns
going to do it.
McDonald's someplace. Oh, I'm going. Because she lied.
You don't think she ever worked at McDonald's?
I know she did. We checked it out. Unless somebody comes up with something. We checked it out. They said she never worked here. She even picked the store. We went to the manager. The manager's been there forever. You remember her? No, she never worked here. They know. Okay.
No,
so will you wear the paper hat?
And you know who I'll stop talking about it? The press. If I said I worked at McDonald's and it turned out not to be true, this would be the front page of that stupid New York Times, the worst paper. It is the worst rag.
So in order to highlight his claim that she never worked there, not to prove it, just we're going to bring this back up again with 2 weeks, fewer than 2 weeks left in the election, or just about 2 weeks. We gotta make sure everybody remembers that I don't think she worked there, that I'm claiming she didn't work there. And New York Magazine really nailed it. Here's the headline: Trump played wage worker at closed McDonald's. The whole thing was staged. Some of these images I'll show again, but they had run-throughs of how to go through the drive-thru to get the food that nobody ordered because he just gave them whatever he had made or the staff made while he was in there. And he's playing the part with his McDonald's apron and in a completely controlled environment. Very strange. Here's the article. Trump on Sunday worked, quote unquote, at a closed McDonald's, preparing unordered fries and then handing bags of unordered food through the drive-through window to pre-screened supporters whose car had been staged at the location in advance. You gotta be kidding me. NBC News reports the franchise in Feasterville, Pennsylvania was closed for normal business during Sunday's visit. In a statement, the location's owner and operator, Derek Giacomontonio, that's a lot of vowels, said that he decided to participate in the Trump campaign event because it was a fundamental value of my organization that we proudly open our doors to everyone who visits the Feasterville community. Everyone? The Washington Post adds that, quote, no one ordered food. Instead, the attendees received whatever Trump gave them. If that's not a metaphor for Donald Trump's governance, I don't know what is. No one ordered food. Instead, the attendees received, they were just given whatever Trump handed to them. The pretend customers were picked by the franchise and local Trump campaign staff. Local reporter Tom Sofield shared some photos of a drive-through rehearsal before Trump arrived. So, in an effort to highlight his claim that Kamala Harris never worked at McDonald's, Trump pretended to work at a closed McDonald's where he served pretend orders to supporters pretending to be customers. Hopefully, the fries weren't cold, they say. Look, there's a number of different, this is funny on its face because it's so ridiculous, because everything Donald Trump does is just mockable and stupid. But there's an underlying element here that a lot of people aren't really talking about or not talking about enough. And that is that these are low-wage workers who are not protected by the Republican Party. These are people who do a difficult job. You're on your feet all day. It is a job Donald Trump could not, would not do in any circumstance. Yet, here he is cosplaying as a McDonald's worker. The Republican Party fights tooth and nail, including lies and subterfuge about minimum wage in this country, which the federal minimum wage is sickeningly low, $7.25 an hour, hasn't been raised since 2009. I still lived in Idaho in 2009. And the minimum wage has not been raised since then. And the Republican Party wants to put their candidate in cosplay in a costume, the costume that is people's work attire every single day of their lives as they trudge through to make a better life for themselves. Normally, it's not just McDonald's where they work, it's other jobs to supplement, to be able to survive in this country where the minimum wage is immorally low. Yet the Republican Party wants to act like they're an ally or a promoter of working these jobs. Again, there's no more apt metaphor than that. I'd love to know what you think. You can call, leave me a voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can always email me, daily@dollemore.com. And of course, more importantly, comment below. I'd really love to test that. Have you worked at McDonald's? That would be, it's not scientific in the slightest. But if you did, you could say McDonald's yes, McDonald's no, and we can get an idea of just how many people actually did start there, what kind of a rite of passage it was. Follow me on social media. I'm at Dollemore. I'd love to see you there. And if you appreciate what I do and you want to help support this work, for $2 a month, you can click the join button below this video, become a channel member, or you can go over to patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. I love and appreciate you very much. Barreling down to the end of this election, it's going to be nice to take a break. It's not going to be a great break, but it'll be somewhat of a break for all of us. I love and appreciate you. I'll see you next time. Be genuine. Take care of one another.